Hello, welcome to another Friday artwork video. So I thought I'd do a bit of a hybrid format to this, which brings together the various ways over time I've done these Friday artwork videos, because this is not your usual set. This is actually Battlebond. I didn't open many packs of this, and I'll include any links appropriately in the description of this video. So probably 5 or 6 pack, one pack of which actually ends up in a little sub collection I have, where I've got like one of each, like a pack each of magic boosters, going back from around about, I don't know, just after 3rd edition forward, and I think probably one of them ended up in that. So possibly the contents of 5 boosters here. I noticed there's not many duplications. I did think about doing an M10 video when I'm shooting this, but then I realised I'd already actually done an artwork video for M10, so I did start doing core set artwork. I just couldn't remember when I did the deck musings episode, and I sort of mentioned it in passing. So I decided I found this, it was more of not so much a binder, but a box with Battlebond cards in it. So I thought, let's have a look through this. I've slightly reorganised this. There may be some duplications in here. Going forward with the Friday video, because I've sort of caught up with myself now, what I'm probably going to do is start digging through sub-collection items, and I am tempted to have a look through some of the cards that I pulled or ended up in a large box with other cards related to the Commander series that I did, which was the sort of EDH toolkit. And I've got other few cards that I wouldn't have spoken about, which sort of drifted into that collection, and another associated binder as well. So I'm thinking of raiding that and doing like a series of Friday artwork videos where I just randomly pull interesting stuff out from that to look at the artwork. But today we have Battlebond. I'm going to start off with the lands, because I actually kept those separate. So these I don't think ended up, any Battlebond lands actually ended up in any of the Land Ahoy. I'm going to do 2 passes on this video as well. I'm doing the full card pass, because I literally just grabbed these and I couldn't remember how different any of the mechanics were for this Battlebond set. Because if you remember, anybody that opened it or was aware of it at the time, it was some weird like 2-headed giant drafting set, I think. So at this point, while I've got it zoomed out, I'm also going to show you the tokens that I ended up pulling. Although I will probably take those out once we zoom in. In fact, with the Raptor Companion on there. So I'm going to go through these in rarity order and colour as well. So we're going to colour, all the commons in Ruberg order, and then the uncommons, and then the rares and mythics. So there's probably quite a number of cards here that you will recognise if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering over the years. And I'm sure there's some themes and mechanics here that you'll notice. I didn't really pay that much attention to the set at the time, apart from opening 5 to 6 boosters of it. That was about it. So I'll try and track down the original pack openings as well, just so you can see how everything sort of went down. And we've got Benelith Giant there with hexproof. And the gates in here. I imagine quite a number of these actually had interesting alternate artwork as well from the original ones maybe. It was interesting because I never really got a feel for how popular Two-Headed Giant was. I think maybe the first time I became aware of it, I don't know if anybody's watched the video where I went through was it a backtrack? The name of the magazine, but there was a one-off magazine that was done by, I always get it wrong, because is it Bennett's? Whoever does the various magazines about collectible cards, and they attempted one around the 2010s for Magic the Gathering, and it featured in it alongside stuff to do with, I think it was World Wake and Rise of the Eldrazi and Zendikar block generally, some really interesting articles on multiplayer. And it was probably through that was where I first ended up going, looking at multiplayer and discovering probably EDH, and there were some other formats in there they were talking about as well. And I think at that point I probably became aware of Two-Headed Giant. But anybody watching this that knows a bit more about the format, I'm assuming this was the only set which they produced which was specifically aimed at the format. Okay, so on to green now. We're still on the commons. I did read somewhere that they'd increased the power of the commons in this set by just including, like a lot of really strong commons, and maybe, I don't know if they changed the rarities of some cards. Again, I don't know if anybody can confirm whether that was the case. Okay, so some artifacts here. Got Seer's Lantern in here. Hopefully I've got it on the screen long enough for you to just get a feel for the mechanics of the cards before we zoom in, and you'll probably notice already as I've been chatting, we're now into uncommons. Yeah, Chain Lightning was in here. I'm trying to keep these as straight as possible, which is quite a challenge without knocking stuff. It's going to be fun when I get into zooming it in actually. Okay, some multicolour stuff as well. Oh, giving away the foil. So yeah, I did have a regular painful lesson in here, I don't know if you noticed that. That's the foil. And then these are the rares. So we've got Sylvia Brightspear, which is actually a partner creature, a partner legendary. bright flame. There's Corvath's Fury, and then we have Corvath's bright flame. Oops. Not doing a very good job on these last few cards, but there we go. Player of your choice adds colourless. So yeah, you may have noticed there's a number of cards in here that play to the format, so to speak. Okay, so let's zoom in now and see if we can get in on the really close on the artwork action here. Well, that was pretty smooth. Wow. Okay, here we go. I'm hopeful that they actually did do new artwork for this. This isn't just a reprint of something else. I don't think it is. Okay. Good old pacifism. And of course, the reason why I do these zooming ins is you just start to really see stuff that you never noticed before maybe pop. And often even, when I'm doing the Deck Musings episodes where I've got it like zoomed up on screen, like 100%, 170% or whatever, and I'm actually personally like viewing it on a fairly reasonably sized screen on my computer. I even see things pop when I'm doing that I never really noticed before. But hopefully this is even better. Again with Frostlinks, never really paid a lot of attention to the hands, which is funny. And then sometimes I'll see cards which just remind me of other cards, but then I can never remember the name of them, which is always amusing. There's the Unfoiled Painful Lesson. I'm trying to even remember the year this came out. I tend to sort of avoid, sometimes I can't help it, but I tend to avoid sort of looking at the sets in any form before I do these artwork flip-throughs. Sometimes it just happens that it coincides with a Deck Musings episode, but generally I don't, so therefore I don't know much off the top of my head about the set. It's pretty unusual. I'm trying to even work out what's going on there. I mean, we're in red now, so we're going to get lots of flames, but wow, it's cool. Oh, we have shock in here. I don't know if that was the most recent version of the artwork, because it's had, I think, a few different pieces of art. Canopy spider. We've got giant growth, that particular version. It's funny actually when you look back to some of the really early versions of giant growth. Was in the one with the mouse, is there? And there's another one with, I think it's a dragonfly. That sort of era. Yeah, reminds me of Mirrodin. As I pointed out before, there were a few multicoloured cards. We'll see some more here when we get through the uncommons. I'm not sure how much the proportion of reprints to new cards was for these. Definitely seeing a lot of cards I recognise, which usually means that there's quite a number of reprints. There's Chain Lightning, up close. It's funny, I don't know how much you can hear in the background, but I did recorded a video earlier and there was a lawnmower quite clearly. And now probably the same person's got out their whippersnipper. I can remember during the summer when I used to do remote support from home, and yeah, you'd be talking to people, diagnosing their IT problems and logging into machines and doing all sorts of remote work to fix stuff that is broken. And in the background you'd have this sort of chorus of mowers, and I think at that point a neighbour's had some quite nice cars, and so every so often you might hear some sort of muscle car like start up or something like that. So always reminds me of that. There's the four. It's pretty nice actually. I mean, very basic, but I like the way the cuffs sort of pop out there. It's a shame the tattoo or whatever you want to call it on there doesn't pop. Okay. And I mean, assuming again these, as they went through these sets, they got a lot better at I don't know what you want to call it, but just manipulating the pack contents, and so we end up in here with the appropriate partner cards. So the one we saw a moment ago references this one and vice versa. So hopefully you enjoyed that. It's nice to look at something a bit different. And I'm always curious, when I shoot these, I can never really get a good idea of just what it's going to look like on a really big screen, because I'm just looking at this through my camera monitor, in my camera screen. So hopefully there'll be some interesting stuff that pops out there. And I always love reading the comments of, when people make a particular note about what they've seen at a certain point. So that's always good to see and read. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future video.